All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? All right. Looks like people are already here. Thanks for joining in, y'all. Thanks for listening. If you have any issues with the sound, please let me know. I think you can hear me. Pretty sure. All right, Wayne the Pain. Yes, 5x5. Thank you. I've been seeing a lot of those, Denver. The liberal people taking a bunch of Tylenol while they're pregnant. Are you a dope? Like I don't know. Something about those. It's so utterly moronic that something about it seems kind of fake to me. Like it's just maybe people are doing this to fuel the outrage stuff that's going on, because you got to be just all the way an idiot to do something like that. But I guess this is what people are doing, or it just goes to show you that the stupidity of partisan politics has no bounds, zero boundaries. Don't own yourself while trying to own the other side. Don't end up owning yourself. That's just not advisable. So wow, really big news this morning. So several news items this morning are pretty big, and I think that it speaks. All right, so I'm going to put it out there in the effort to kind of add to the voices calling out what's going on or what could possibly go on. But it seems like, right, I think I've said several times, but I just said, in the last couple of days that they are going as fast as they can, trying to push in digital IDs, probably CBDCs, probably, things that people were saying, yeah, that might be coming in, in the next couple of years. No, nope. And it's interesting because, I'll show you we'll look at some of the links that I have. But Trump was just in the UK. And then now he was speaking to the UN and saying that, we need AI verification, whatever that means. I think he's talking about immigration, because that is the way that he has been selling it. That is also the way that Britain is selling it. So he just had a meeting. He was just in the UK. Then all of a sudden, 2 days later, or a day later in the UN, Trump is saying we need AI verification. 2 days later, Keir Starmer's like, we're going to have a digital ID. Like, really, guys? It seems like you all got together and just decided this is the time that we're going to do this. We're going right now. So please be aware. I am letting you all know, and please let your people know, whoever you need to let know, please let everybody know that they're they've got the football and they're gonna jump into the end zone. They're not waiting. They're not like, well, maybe by 2026. No, they're like, let's go as fast as we can. And on top of that, Pete Hegseth is called we'll get to the news. Pete Hegseth has called a meeting with the generals, like all the generals, called them personally to a meeting in the U.S. That's supposed to happen next Tuesday. What the F is going on? Something is going on. Not only that, they ramped this Charlie Kirk false flag thing up. The Dallas false flag, they're that's adding to we got to arrest anybody who's protesting anybody who's protesting the government. A is Antifa, B, left-wing loony, C, we don't like commies. Let's arrest everybody. Like, that's kind of what the playbook that they're rolling out. So it seems like they are planning something big to unleash on people in order to hasten the introduction, the insertion of digital IDs, AI, and everything else that they can possibly throw on us all at the same time. I'm guessing it's some kind of, right, like, it wouldn't actually surprise me if it was something that knocked the grid down, blamed on, the T's, whoever that might be. And then, when everything comes back on, when the lights come back on, there's going to be digital money and digital IDs, and everything is going to be biometric. You're not going to be able to do anything without a biometric identity. This is my guess. And my guess is it's going to happen really soon. And I'm sorry to be, I try not to be like that, scary. I'm trying not to be that spooky. Man, I have very little trust in the country right now, in the administration right now. I am at an all-time low trust of what is going on. Like, I don't trust anything right now. I don't trust shit right now. I'm at an all-time low. I am taking an extremely defensive stance in literally everything that I do, and I am preparing to, I don't know what, like, deal with whatever craziness they're going to try and throw at us. I'm sorry. I don't like being this scary, and I try not to, because I think that most of the time it's unwarranted. But I feel like right now is a really good time to read the signs, right? The signs are everywhere. They're blinking, flashing red. They're saying, go, 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 go. Beware. The signs are blinking red. So Pay attention. You have to pay attention to those signs. You cannot just be like, well, I say, let's, pay attention to the signs, resist whatever it is they're trying to push on us, because I see it as bullshit. I call bullshit before it even happens. Before they even do it, I call bullshit. Everybody needs to call bullshit on this. We need to call bullshit as loud as we can at the top of our voices so that something does not go down, or that we lessen the impact of whatever they're trying to do. And then if it doesn't happen, maybe a month or 2 or 3 months from now, if everything remains normal, okay, take a deep breath, maybe go back to, some normal chill stance in life. But like right now is not the time to be chill. Right now is not a chill time. They are on bullshit. It's clear as day that they are running a bullshit op on us, and they are going to ramp it up. They're absolutely going to ramp it up. They don't give any fucks at all. So, and it's very scary to realize that. Wayne the Pain says, I had the same guess 4 years ago. Yeah. Well, yeah. And I'd say that's true too. Denver, don't be scared, be prepared, but be prepared. Be prepared. Right now is a really good time to be prepared. Excellent time to be prepared for some bullshit. So whatever that means to you, whatever it is that you got to do, I say do it sooner than later. Malcolm says, I think the grand plan from the very top is being moved forward simply because of the new South Pole collapse stuff. Yeah, and better to be prepared, safe, than sorry, whatever. And then if something doesn't go down, you can go back to just being like, okay, well, disclosure soon. It's arguably been here for a while. One world government and one world. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And that actually was one of my other choice for the thumbnail today was the New World Order is afoot. The 4 horsemen of the New World Order are afoot. You haven't taken any type of pill or cold medicine since 2019. Good for you, Wayne. I say the less of that stuff, the better. I stay away from pretty much all medications as much as I possibly can. I try to actually stay away from doctors as much as I can. Yeah, creative. Probably, it's already showing signs of collapse. I don't, well, not collapse. I think collapse is a strong word, but the crypto markets have been definitely taking a hit the last couple of days. This whole week has been the whole week has been a big old downturn for the crypto market. So do with that what you will. Typically September is very red for crypto, and it's been pretty steady for crypto. But this last week has not been steady. Not only, the stock market and the crypto market have both been tanking. And it's almost October. So do with that what you will. Where is silver and gold? How are they doing? Are they? Well, it looks like silver is cranking. Silver's actually cranking. Gold cranking. So everything else is tanking. Gold and silver cranking. Again, do with that what you will. I don't know. All right, let's get into it because man, time's a wasting. I just wanted to give a good summation of kind of what I'm seeing and feeling about what I'm seeing. This is real stuff. This is not, this is not a drill. They are really trying to get this, slammed in ASAP. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is not a, push it forward, bring it back kind of situation. They're just pushing forward. Trump announces AI verification system at the UN. First of all, Spiro says Trump takes credit for the new AI verification system of everything. It's actually a UN plan called Agenda 21, tied into transhumanism, merging man and machine. They want to plug you into the control grid. That's what Doge was, a insertion of AI into everything. It wasn't a house cleaning or a budget balancing. It was a AI insertion thing. Let's listen.
One of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it can be put to tremendous use and tremendous good. And this would be an example of that. I'm announcing today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce biological weapons convention, which is going to be meeting with the top leaders of the world by pioneering an AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also be one of the early projects under AI. Let's see how good it is, because a lot of people are saying it could be one of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it could be put to tremendous.
Okay. And remember, the EU is pushing in a entry-exit biometric visa system. This is the exact wording that Trump used when he was running, before he was even elected. He said, we need an entry, and everybody was like, yay. Still voted for him anyways. Right? People were like, huh? And then you went and voted for him. He said out loud with his mouth words before he was elected, we're going to have a biometric entry-exit visa system. And everybody was like, I think that's good, because I think it means keep the immigrants out. Every adult in Britain will require a new government-issued digital ID. This is Keir Starmer announcing today all UK adults to require digital ID under Keir Starmer plan. Man, they're it was just like a week or two ago when people were like, did you hear that Vietnam closed a bunch of people's bank accounts? Did you hear that Mexico was requiring people to have digital ID? Everyone, and people are like, huh, well, that's frightening. Boom. Like within a couple of weeks, it's here, to the UK, and, it's not far off from the US, right? If they're doing this, everybody's doing this all at the same time. It is not far from and what I'm guessing is that some states will start requiring it. Right. They won't do it in the US like as a federal thing, at first. Maybe they will, but my guess is that like New York and, even Florida or some Texas or some states like that will go like, what I think we need a digital ID. Like they're just kind of like, some states are going to go, what? And then like a couple of weeks later, the federal government will be like, that's a fine idea. Wyoming said digital IDs for everybody. And we're like, yeah, that's great. But this is everyone. Oops. I hate when that happens. Sorry, guys. It's the result of having too many tabs open. My bad. We'll get it back. But this is huge news. Everybody is talking about this morning. Every adult in Britain will require a new government-issued digital ID. This is absolutely appalling. Britain should never, ever be a government controlled show us your digital paper society. Yeah, but every government in the world is kind of doing this all at the same time. Except for China, because they're already doing it. They're already like way ahead of everybody. Jason Bessler says the two most important stories in America are Epstein files, Palantir's grip on AI and surveillance. Everything else is noise. Stay locked in. I don't know if everything else is noise. You know, I'm not a fan of the well, you were distracted, this thing happened. No, it's all of it is like part of the whole. Like you have to kind of pay attention to everything that's going on. Because what's the noise? The noise is Charlie Kirk or something. Like that's actually part of the game plan. That noise is what they're using to drive this in. So you have to kind of pay attention to all the other stuff. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the while you were distracted posts, and I wish people would just cut it out. You're not like you're not like making a hit point or anything there, but whatever. Somebody says wrong. Israel's stronghold over our politicians, financial systems, and social media is a problem. Epstein files related to number 1. 3, Palantir's grip on AI and surveillance also related to number 1. Yeah. Yeah. True story. There's a lot going on that needs to be paid attention to. It's all part of the whole. Don't get distracted with like, I don't have to worry about that. That's just a bunch of noise. No, it's not noise. It's actually all part of the whole thing. Yvette Cooper on digital ID. So here's a little bit of a longer clip about the UK discussing digital ID. I don't know if I'm going to play the whole thing. But this guy, I don't know who this guy is who's asking about this, but he's like, so tell me about this digital ID. Like, I foresee some issues, but, tell me more. Malcolm Young says food shocks are going to be massive in the next few years. They need to have controls in place to prevent losing. Sure. Sure. Yep. Wayne the Pain. So many people have dual citizenships in Congress. Yeah. Well, whether they have dual citizenship or not, they are all owned, like completely owned, like all of Congress, everyone. You might be able to find like 1 or 2, that the number that you could count on one hand that might not be owned, and I'll bet you money that somewhere in there they might actually have some ties that are not above ground, so they're still owned anyways. I call it 100%. If we're going to round 98% up to 100, let's just call it 100. They're all owned, all of them, and the entire Trump administration is literally just stocked full of Israeli handlers, AIPAC handlers. Let now.
Digital ID in terms of new arrivals and securing our borders and having an immigration system fit for purpose, just in terms of the wider population and other issues. So, for example, online fraud and online crime is one of the huge challenges for your department and for crime prevention and the criminal justice system. Do you see digital ID having a role to play in that? And yet more generally across the population, or do you see it confined to simply an issue of immigration and border control within the auspices of the Home Office, of course, because there are other benefits in other departments?
So I think our clear focus is around being able to ensure that we've got proper rules being respected and enforced in the immigration system. And
it's weird to me that they're using immigration to roll this in, but it's also not weird, right? I mean, everything that Trump has been doing, like as far as deploying ICE or the military, like all of it has been kind of, and the AI verification rollout of all of that, and the eventual rollout of like biometric IDs in the US is all going to be, they're using that as the, right? Because of course people hate immigrant, like, oh, jobs and, whatever it is they're trying to sell people. It's all manufactured consent anyways, right? Because most people are like, I don't know about that, or maybe maybe I have nuanced takes on immigration, right? Like most people are not like, this is such a problem, right? Like they created the problem, literally they created the problem, and now they're like, well, we gotta do something about it. It's completely manufactured. The whole story is fake from start to end. Yeah. And that is real. Okay. Oh, I said it again.
And in the asylum system as well, that we can make sure that if that there is evidence if people are not here lawfully or they are not working lawfully, we can get that information. We can actually make sure we can take the much stronger action to prevent that kind of abuse of the system taking place.
Oh, the abuse. And then she goes on to talk. I'm just going to paraphrase because I don't have time to play the whole thing, but she goes on to say like, well, online, we need it, online because, there's so much fraud and crime happening on. Really? Is there's so much crime and fraud happening online? I mean, I'm sure there is. I'm also positive half of it is done by the NSA, or some intelligence agency. I'm positive that half of those scam calls you get on your phone are probably from intelligence agencies. I'm positive of it. They're just doing it to harass people and to create a problem that people will be like, well, if I have a digital ID, maybe I could be spared from the fraud and the crime, right? That's part of the creating the problem. They're the ones doing the fraud and the crime, right? Half of those cases, I'm sure, are our own people doing it to us in order to generate geez, I gotta protect myself online. I guess I need a digital ID right now. Please issue it to me right away. Oh yeah. Yep. And then, there's always the crime of, possibly saying something that they don't like, right? And that's actually the ultimate goal of it, is not the fraud and the crime. It's the crime of saying things that go against the official narrative. The wrong speech is the thing that they're really intending on going after. Okay, so I'd like to share good news when there is good news. Didn't know this. I don't know if I think there's still Amazon Freshes in the US, but apparently in the UK, Amazon Fresh did not do well at all. All 19 remaining UK stores closed. Experts blame dystopian concept that stoked fears of Big Brother surveillance. So Amazon Fresh did not do well, basically because people didn't like the whole pay with your chip, your palm. I'm equating, I think what they were trying to do is get people to pay with their palm, but basically biometric ID, either facial scans or palm scans or whatever it was. They were, they were kind of shopping that as a feature of the store. And I think, I don't know if I'm wrong, but maybe Amazon Fresh was one of those pilot stores where they were having people go in. You could just grab your things and just walk out, and they would just charge a card. I don't know if they were doing that on Amazon Fresh, but I think that they had that pilot. going for a little while in some stores, which is what they're trying to sell, all that stuff. Yeah, I think there's plenty of Amazon Freshes in the US still. I think they're also operating under another, like with like a merged with another company. I'm not sure. Hold on, let's see if they're still open in the US. As far as I know, they're still here. There are 64 Amazon Fresh stores in the United States as of September 2nd. So there's lots of stores here still. Who knows if they're going to make it, though. They did shut them down in the UK. Okay. This is frightening. A lot of people are concerned about this one. This is sure. This is a very concerning news story. People have plenty of concerns about this. Hegseth orders rare urgent meeting of U.S. generals and admirals. War Secretary Pete Hegseth has reportedly issued a highly unusual order directing hundreds of U.S. military generals and admirals to assemble next week at a Marine Corps base in Virginia, Quantico, on short notice and without explanation, a move that shocked military leaders. The directive sent earlier this week requires virtually all top commanders worldwide, those holding the rank of brigadier general or higher, or their Navy equivalent, along with their senior enlisted advisors, to attend the meeting at Marine Corps Base Quantico next Tuesday. Quantico, however you'd like to say it. The Washington Post reported Thursday in an exclusive. The directive sent earlier this week requires virtually all top commanders. Did I already read that? Even commanders in conflict zones and those stationed in Europe, the Middle East, and the Asia Pacific region are expected to attend. The order does not apply to officers in staff roles. So this is very weird, concerning, surprising. I don't know what this means. The calls for general and flag officers to meet is unprecedented as it is alarming, another source told the Post. People are very concerned. They have no idea what it means. You don't call GOFOs leading their people and their global force into an auditorium outside DC and not tell them why. What does it mean? Are we declaring war? Are they firing everybody? Are they making sure that everybody's in line with what they're, whatever they're trying to pull on everybody is going to be in the next couple months? Like, whoa. The implications are, obviously varied. Yeah. Tracy Smith, well, welcome. Need community, yeah. Everyone is getting a raise. That's good news, everybody. I mean, I wouldn't, if you work for ICE, you get a raise, right? I mean, that's how they're getting people to work to do the ICE job, is that everybody's broke, right? All the good paying jobs are gone. People are laid off. So they're like, you know what? I know people out there can't afford their rent and have a family. Going to the store costs $200 every time you go for like a little bag of stuff. Like we it's hard living out there. So How about a $50,000 signing bonus? And everybody's like, oh, okay, sign me up. Right. So, money talks. And if you want people to do some heinous shit and, and toe the line, like, I guess a raise would be a really, a very good incentive. Holy shit. Are you serious, Bola? That's wild. What an asshole. Jesus. Like that's yeah, that's a really it's a wild thing to do. They're talking about bailing out farmers. Right? We've been, that was a story a couple of weeks ago that farmers, especially in Arkansas and other places, were having a really hard time, and for various reasons, right? There are multiple reasons that are coalescing on the farmers, making it very difficult for them to, do the job that they're supposed to be doing, which is growing food for everybody. And a lot of them are close to going out of business. They've asked Trump for a bailout. Before they announced this, the Trump administration was like, we might have to bail out Argentina. And I think a lot of Americans were like, oh, that was a Rodney Dangerfield joke? Oh, okay. I was like, man, that's messed up. No respect. I can't even do Rodney Dangerfield. I'll tell you, no respect. I need more jowls for Rodney Dangerfield. You got to have a lot of jowls going on. Anyways, the agriculture secretary speaks to reporters about they're talking about bailing out farmers because Trump broke the soybean and wheat markets for no reason at all. Well, I'd say there's probably a reason. To get everybody shook. If you're looking at the macro, and you need giant eyeballs too, yeah, and bushy eyebrows, the whole thing. It's like a Halloween mask. I wouldn't mind going as Rodney Dangerfield, but people would be like, who are you? The only people that would get it would be, the elderly. Okay. Yeah. So if you destroy the economy, you put people in a position of accepting whatever it is that you're about to give them when things go really bad, right? So I'm sorry, Tracy. There's a lot of people that feel like you and don't be alone. You're not alone. So if that makes you feel any better.
That alongside, of course, the president's effort to realign.
Also, there's more of us than there are of them, if that makes you feel any better.
America around American products and making all of these new deals, we are at a point where we're looking at the harvest, where we're looking at our soybean, corn, wheat, sorghum, cotton farmers who are facing very, very difficult times. We are currently in conversations here at the White House, across the government, on a farmer aid package. In our current programming right now, we've got about $13 billion moving out under ECAP, which is our old farmer payment system based on losses from last year and the year before. So this would be in addition to that, in partnership with our colleagues on the Hill. We should have an announcement very soon, perhaps in the next couple of weeks.
One last
that alongside, of course, the president's effort to.
Well, we'll see. After, years, if not decades, demonizing socialism, and sorry if I offend anybody with this, but you know, we're here because they told you that, you know, small government good and big government bad, and you know, getting things for your tax dollars is dumb, and we're just going to keep taking shit from you and siphoning all the money out of that you give us and giving it to whatever, you know, laundering it in various wars and other endeavors, right? Like, they told you to have less agency, and you know, that small government was going to be so much better for you, and that big government was just a bad thing, and don't involve yourself, and you can't have a say, and you don't want to have a say, and just, you know, don't worry about it, everything's going to be fine, we got it from here, and all that kind of stuff. How about some socialism, you know, for Argentina, or for farmers, or cops, or ICE? It's all socialism. All of it is social. All of it is the government giving your money away to things that aren't good for you, when you coulda, you know, or shoulda, and there's still time right now, maybe say, I'm not going to give you anything else until you give me ... That's called, you know, but they've brainwashed y'all so nicely, and everybody ate it up with a spoon. It tastes good. Anyways, there's still a lot of socialism going on. You know, TARP bailouts, care COVID bailouts. That's all socialism, bros. So, you know, why not take control of the ship and go like, yes, we want what we want for us, because we're paying for it anyways. Just a friendly PSA there. Yeah, this is why is Luke Rudowski acting surprised? I thought Luke was like a smart guy. The Trump administration is rehiring hundreds of federal workers laid off by Doge. Slash and burn, bros. Slash and burn. Oh, we're gonna hire him back. Well, it's funny, Tracy, because you know, I see lots of pictures of like people in China or people in South Korea, or Charlie Kirk, right before, you know, a couple of weeks ago, there was a video of him in South Korea saying like, look at all the nice stuff they have. And somebody was like, dude, that's called socialism. And they were, you know, they're just laughing at him. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. But yeah. Oh, thanks, Norman. I appreciate you. Anyways, but I see lots of videos of people in China going like, look at all the great stuff they have. Or you know, people anywhere like, oh, look, you know, in Mexico, you get free healthcare. In China, you get free housing or free healthcare. You get, you know, at least some stuff, you know, for your, but we don't, you know, we're like, no, we don't want anything. Give us less of everything. In fact, cut our Social Security, because I'm sure that's good for us. If you cut our Social Security and Medicare, I'm sure that's good for us, right? Because you got to balance the budget. But well, you're sending more money to Argentina. Yo, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm actually, I care, you know, it's because I care. And so we need to get back to the caring about each other thing, which is like what socialism is about. I care about you. I care about my brother. I care about my fellow American. I'm not trying to stomp them down or hurt them or, you know, whatever. Meanwhile, like Democrats are like, we're not going to pass this bill until you get free health care to illegal immigrants. And like, whatever the hell that's about. Fine, give health care to immigrants, but like, why don't you give health care to every American first, so that they can be like, you know what, we have so much, we are so full of plenty in the land of milk and honey that we can give health care to these poor immigrants that are coming in asking, you know. I thought there weren't any more immigrants, by the way, because Trump closed, there's no more immigrants. That problem is over. They're self-deporting like crazy. Well, I guess they don't need health care, Democrats. I don't know what that's about. That is like wild. It's cool. Anyways, they're hiring all these employees back for the federal government because oops. Kind of need them. It's also sucks for the economy when people are laid off and they don't have jobs and they can't buy anything. When you shoot your economy, when you shoot a hole in your own boat, then you got to do things to plug the hole back up. JD Vance says, when Democrats like Gavin Newsom say these people are part of an authoritarian government, which they are. Here's one of the things that is like infuriating to watch is because they're calling, they're saying that they're basically trying to set it up so that if you have a problem with the government being actually fascist and authoritarian and technocratically, overreaching everywhere, right? Like enforcing all this stuff, putting military in the streets, basically checking everybody's ID, putting everybody on a digital ID, right? That's all authoritarian fascism. And they're trying to set up the verbiage in which if you have a problem with any of that, you are Antifa, domestic terrorist, you are, persona non grata, you maybe will deport you. I don't know. Maybe you'll lose your passport. Maybe you'll lose your citizenship. They are literally doing the authoritarian like shuffle. They're, Trump does it all the time. Authoritarian shuffle. Look at me. I'm dancing to the village people. That's not weird. We're dancing to anyways, whatever. I won't even go down that road. I won't give any time to that. Anyways.
Because here's what happens.
This is frightening, by the way. You should be absolutely terrified by what he's saying. What Stephen Miller said the other night at the Charlie Kirk Memorial, you should be terrified because that's literally, he cribbed a freaking Nazi speechwriter. Goebbels, he cribbed his speech and said it out loud on TV. You should be terrified. If you're not terrified of what they're doing, I don't know, then don't be terrified. I don't know. Go to Starbucks or something. Get you one of them fall flavored drinks. They're serving up for $8 a cup. You might have to join ICE to afford it, but go ahead and go to Starbucks and get you a drink.
Because here's what happens when Democrats like Gavin Newsom did say that these people are part of an authoritarian government. When the left-wing media lies about what they're doing, when they lie about who they're arresting, when they lie about the actual job of law enforcement, what they're doing is encouraging crazy people to go and commit violence. You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell, and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America.
You have no place in the political conversation? Dude, no, no, bro. Out of here with that. You have no place dictating who has a place in the political conversation. I'm sorry, you're wrong. You lose, sir. You're committing criminal acts every single day. You are overstepping. You are overstepping your authority, your boundaries. No. And the people of the US say no to that. You don't get to deem anybody not worthy of being part of the political conversation. We are all worthy of the political conversation. every one of us, whether you like it or not. You cannot infringe on people's free speech. Sorry, sit down, JD freaking Vance. Supposedly these are Antifa, but I don't see any signs that these are Antifa people. I don't even know what this is about. Sorry, I just grabbed this. I saw it earlier, but I was like, they're posting this as somehow Antifa members were arrested. But I'm like, do you know that they're Antifa members, or are they just people that are protesting? Because they could just be people that are protesting. And so you can't just call people that are, protesting the government. You can't call them all Antifa. Because they're not. Nobody, who is Antifa? Like, I'm not Antifa. Nobody here is Antifa. Nobody on this watching this show is Antifa. Like, but we all oppose what the government's doing. So you can't do that. You can't just, but they're trying to do that. So, maybe not. Nobody's accepted money, Stanley. Okay, so you're wrong about that. You don't know what you're talking about. And you want to support Vance and Trump? Just get ready for the day when this comes back on you, because it will, and it's going to probably come back very soon on you, and that will suck. And then you'll have to be like, oh shoot, I asked for this and now I'm screwed. And I don't wish that on you, man. I don't wish that on anybody, because everybody has a right to like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Don't we? You can get your Antifa membership card at Costco, at Target. Bro, I'm wearing a black t-shirt. Can I join the club? Whatever. Malcolm, you're both a skinhead and Antifa? Nice. nice, dude. Yeah. I can assure you that being Antifa is not the worst thing in the world that you can be. I'm not Antifa. I don't really care about Antifa. I don't get, I'm like, who's Antifa? Antifa is most likely a creation of intelligence agencies or the FBI or both. That's who Antifa is. Because, hey, guess what? Who's Hamas? Is Hamas really a anti-Israeli group, or was Hamas funded by Israel? Trick question. Anybody know the answer? Okay. So Antifa is most likely a creation of, somewhat a creation of the intelligence agencies in order to have a foil, in order to have a bad guy to call a bad guy, in order to go like, those guys are bad, we need to get rid of them. Did I get it? Did I get it right? Did I get it right? I think I did. Exactly. There you go. Hamas is funded by Israel. So is Hamas really the bad guy, or did Israel create a fake enemy in order to call everybody Hamas? Anybody who's against Israel is Hamas, which is the most ridiculous, childish 3-year-old bullshit ever. Oh, you're all bad. So dumb. So, calling everybody Antifa if you don't like what people are doing in the Trump administration is dumb. It's like 3-year-old nonsense. All right. So like, grow up or something. NSA. Yeah. It's nonsense. So I don't know if these people are these people really Antifa? Federal police make arrests in Oregon. Federal officers arrested multiple suspects outside the Eugene Federal Building as Antifa militants. All right. Are they Antifa? Where is the, I haven't seen, maybe they might be. I haven't seen, he surely looks like an Antifa guy, but how do you know? His face is covered, just like ICE. How would you know the difference between Antifa and ICE? Do you know the difference between Antifa and ICE? Other than, maybe the ICE guys wear a little green and the Antifa guys wear some black. Do you know who these people really are? Are these real people? Okay. Yeah, these. I don't know what's going on. This looks like a really scary group. What? It's like 8 people. That guy looks like an ICE officer. I don't know what. Here you go. Here's Antifa members in action. Remember when they stormed the beach at Normandy? Inglorious Bastards. Ever seen that movie? They were anti-fascist. Good movie. Anyways, if you believe all that nonsense about Antifa and who's Antifa and they're bad people and they're threatening the government, then I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Learn the meaning of words or something. Maybe. Melancholy says mouthy and rainbow hair usually, but who can tell? All fake. Nice. They trade Tylenol stocks yesterday, but someone linked to the government made a fortune. Oh yeah, man. Right? Yep. Somebody called that on the channel, I think, the other day. They're like, oh, Tylenol, bet against Tylenol today, and next week they'll say, like, oh, it's fine. It's okay. And then bet on it to go back up. I don't know if I'd bet on anything to go up right now, but that I do not give financial advice, so don't listen to me. Let's see. Here's Hillary Clinton saying, you know what? Donald Trump is right. When you think that the sides are against each other, just when you think that the left is against the right and the right's against the left, you realize like, they're on the same team. Oh, geez. Should have seen that one coming. Hillary Clinton endorses Donald Trump's foreign policy. MAGA is fooled once again on a cosmic level because they are not. They don't care about you. Don't you understand that? They don't care about you. Trump does not give an F about you. Hillary does not give an F about you. If you get caught up in thinking that they give an F about you, that's when the real problems start.
Back their land.
Well, I have to say, Joe, I welcomed what the president said yesterday. I thought that given all the back and forth that we have seen and heard at Anchorage and elsewhere, his coming to grips with the fact that Vladimir Putin does not respond to any kind of rhetoric. He only responds to strength. And you have to show strength, you have to back strength, you have to be strong in order to deal with him. And he poses a clear and present danger to all of Europe and therefore to the United States. And I think if what President Trump said yesterday is, if we help Ukraine can hold the line and may even be able to push Russia back. And there was a very...
Do you guys hear this, though? Trump was like, I'm going to end the war in the first hour I'm in office. And now he's like, you know what? And the whole time he's been arming them. He's been sending them arms. And now he's like, you know what? I think they just need a few more armaments and they can win. This is what Trump is saying. Hopefully you're not, if you voted for Trump, it's okay. You could actually just say like, oops, I made a mistake. Darn, that was dumb. You could, it's okay. Like we all, hey, I voted for Bernie, back in the day. I thought he was the real deal Holyfield, and like I was wrong. So, you know,
Interesting comment that Trump
you
made
voted for
in
Trump.
his Truth Social
You can be wrong.
post.
It's cool. Just you can't. Don't keep riding the cart with the wheels falling off now, because you might get hurt.
He said, you know, what kind of military does Russia have?
Exactly.
They couldn't even take over Ukraine. This has been a point I've been trying to make now for a long time. We overestimated Russia's military strength.
Okay, well that's a strong
and now
that's
we're
a strong
seeing that
opinion.
they can be pushed back.
That's a strong opinion. Almost heaven, West Virginia. That is a strong opinion. But I hope it works out. I mean, I don't know. I don't see the path to working out, but what do you think he's doing for you that is helping your, what do you think he's doing for you that is helping your life? Like, is there something tangible that you can point to that is, making your life better? I'm just asking. I'm actually curious.
Why do we always do that? I mean, you can go back. I mean, you look back at history. Look at Japan's war with Russia. You can look at what happened Finland and Russia before World War II. You can look at what happened in June of 41 as the Germans. I know eventually they pushed the Nazis out, but how many tens of millions of people died? Why is it that we did in the Cold War too? Why do we always overestimate Russia's strength?
The problem, oops, I did it again. The problem is when you don't know who the Nazis are. There's a real issue there when you're talking about like politics, history, and you don't know that, and you're talking about the Nazis as if you're not the Nazis. Awesome. Or you don't understand who the Nazis are? Totally fun times. Totally fun times. I'm waiting. I don't have a lot of time, almost heaven, but just give me one. You couldn't give me one. You said all day, but you could. I just asked you for one. I don't need all day. I just need one. One or two. Give me a couple of reasons. And and I'm all ears. Stink Tifa. Ooh, burn. Whoa. That's a good one. Remember that time Joe Biden and Kamala Harris labeled all anti-capitalists as domestic violent extremists? Here's how you know nobody's in Antifa, because we actually understand that the Democrats are also calling anybody who's against the government violent domestic terrorists, right? Just like who's doing that now? I wonder. Melancholy. That was hilarious. We talked about it yesterday. When does Kamala not act drunk? Yep. All right. I'm trying to get back to this news. If you like the show and you want to support the show, there's lots of links in the description box. Or there's a link tree on X. Many of you support the show already. You know who you are, and I appreciate you. I saw that Alex Jones and who else? Somebody else was kicked off of YouTube today. I can't remember who the other person was. The day after YouTube said that they were going to be more free speechy, the day after YouTube said, "No, we're sorry. Everybody come on back." And then they were like, "Alex Jones, get out of here." Funny. Oh, so yeah. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris basically did the same thing that Trump and Vance are doing right now, which is labeling anybody who's anti-capitalist, anti-what's going on, anti-authoritarian, labeling them as the bad people. Only Trump has troops on the street right now who are just taking people, without any, identification, no due process. Right? It's a bigger problem right now. A bigger problem. I still didn't get my answer from Almost Heaven, but it's cool. I keep closing out these dang windows. Sorry. I got too many tabs. Too many tabs. Let's see. There's a bear that went nuts in Russia, mauled a woman who died from her injuries. It's crazy though, because he almost got this guy who jumped in the car. That bear was pissed. Sorry, you guys can't see this. This is a mad bear. He's angry. Kamala is on a book tour, which is why she's out making a fool of herself on national TV. And somebody got up in the audience and said, "Your legacy is genocide," and it is. Her legacy is she left a legacy for Trump of genocide, and Trump is like, "Thanks. I like genocide too. I like genocide."
Your legacy is genocide. The blood of the Palestinians is on your hands. You pledged your full support for Israel while they shot babies, while they blew babies up, while they burned Palestinians alive.
He sounds like Antifa to me.
Your legacy is genocide. You care more about protecting an apartheid state than defending the rights of Americans. Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you!
Literally, shame on you. Irish activists shut down the port tunnel to demand a trade embargo on the Israeli occupation. Go, Irish activists. I only got a couple of posts left. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow at noon Pacific, as I am usually every day. All right. I wanted to show you this. This is hilarious. Somebody put up a poll about the digital ID cards, saying there's growing public support. This is how they're trying to sell. Like the public wants it, right? It's growing public support for a super digital identity card, which would allow people to access public services and report problems in their local area. A new report from Sir Tony Blair's think tank suggests. Would you support this? Do you see the nose? Yeah, public support, huh? We need it. We want it so bad. No, nobody wants it. Nobody wants it so bad. Creative says, I'm not ashamed to admit I voted for Obama and Kamala, both mistakes. Yeah, I mean, people, you do what you do. You do what you can. And people do things that in the moment they think are the right things to do. Like I never really fault people for doing the thing that they think is right, because that's what people do. They do the best that they can do given the information that they have on hand. And sometimes it's not a lot of information, or maybe it's not the best information. Maybe it's just propaganda. Right? And you could belittle people for doing that, or you could, call them dumb, or you can whatever. Oh, I was, I knew better than you. Like I find that kind of attitude really ridiculous, and it's a little bit annoying. I mean, people are doing the best that they can with the information at hand. That's what's, all you can do. And I try not to be, overly condescending in my views. Sometimes it's hard, I get a little riled up, and I get a little bit like, don't be dumb. But like, we're all trying not to be dumb. I'm dumb every day. I make mistakes. I do dumb things pretty much every day of my life. And, my goal in life is to do less dumb things today than I did yesterday. And so I think that we all can be on board with just being a little less dumb today than we were yesterday. And I voted for Obama twice. I voted for Bernie twice, because I thought, maybe this guy will help us. This ratchet sellout. You voted for Kamala when she was Attorney General. I think I did too. I actually did. Creative Experiments. I probably voted for a couple of times. Oh, I didn't know what a horrible clown she was. But then she went, big time, and then everybody got to see what a clown she is. Sorry, not sorry. This is pretty great meme. Like I said, with immigration, they're just getting people to agree to the same thing as MAGA by portraying their enemies as MAGA, right? Calling your political opponent a communist serves an important purpose for the bourgeois. It forces their political base to view communism as the enemy. Man, it works every time. Just say the word communism. People are like, yeah, fucking commies. Even alternative news channels literally all echo this same sentiment. And it's just so tiring. And like, and almost like, bro, I see what you're doing kind of a thing. When they're all like, yeah, fucking communists. I'm like, bro, you're literally echoing what each party does to each other. And you're supposed to be alternative news. Good job. Out there. Good job. What policies am I voting for? Man, I seriously, I want things that work for people, right? Things that are beneficial to people. Medicare for all. Social safety nets, homeless housing for the homeless, less military spending, right? Remember when Tulsi was talking about a peace dividend, right? We were less international military escapades, and that we launder billions of dollars every year on these escapades when we could be spending that money on people here. How about environmental oversight, proper environmental oversight, making sure that safety things are being followed, right? That our land and our air and our water is not being poisoned, right? Just those kinds of things that are social good. How about high-speed rail? How about public transportation, cheap public transportation. How about, you know, less frisking of people every single day to, you know, tax their hard-earned dollars every single day, and more money for public good. And some people might call that socialism, and I would say, yup, that's exactly what it is. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Call it what it is. Used to be a time in this country when the vast majorities of southern states were Southern Democrats, and they've propagandized you to think that the Democrats are the evil ones that loved slavery. Not so much. There was a time when most of the country was Democrat and most of the South was Democrat because they loved FDR and they loved the socialist programs because FDR helped lift them out of, you're all starving today. With like good old common sense. And there was a time when we had 90% tax rates on the fucking wealthy, and we, you know, did public good with those tax dollars instead of laundered all that money, you know, taking all your money and giving you shit in return. So, you know, it's just is that basic, right? Common sense, compassion. Thank you, Extra Bola. Yes. Malcolm Young says revolution. That's all. That's all. I mean, I feel like it's just pretty simple, right? Care for your fellow citizens and not, you know, steal from them left and right and give them nothing in return. And this is what we've got for the last like 40 years. All we've gotten is libertarianism, even from the Democrats. You know, more small government, you know, less taxes. Every time they lower your taxes. You know whose taxes really get lowered? The wealthy. They've been just wiping away all those taxes off the wealthy. So there's less money to go around. The wealthy are getting wealthier. You're getting poorer. Can you see what's happening? It's just so freaking obvious. Things have gotten so bad over the last like 3-4 decades, and it's because of this like neoliberal, liberal or libertarian, whatever you want to call it, agenda, which is a rollback of social democracy, right? Socialism mixed with democracy, which was actually when this country was kind of at its greatest. Mostly. There were problems, obviously. There was like Jim Crow and shit. But mostly when this country was, you know, at its most wealthy, most productive, at its greatest point, had its most, you know, had the most power, is when we had massive social policies in place. Socialist policies. And then we've just been told over and over and over and over and over and over again for the last 5 decades that all that was bad, until everybody's like, oh, is it bad? Oh yeah, it's just bad. You know, nobody even thinks about it anymore. Nobody even thinks about it anymore. They're just told every single day, the government is bad, the government's bad, government's bad, government's bad, government's bad. You know, less, you know, they're going to take more shit from you and more shit from you and more shit from you until you just expect it. You just expect it. It's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. So time to start turning that dialogue around, turn that verbiage around, turn those words around. We can ask for more. We demand more. We can get more if we demand more. If we organize and demand more, we can get more. See how that works? Just start saying that. You deserve more. We deserve more from our government. We deserve more from, you know, what they're trying to tell us we're supposed to get. We all work hard. We all pay into the system. We should get what we deserve when we pay into this system. Instead, they're talking about raising the Social Security age so that they can save money. But they're not going to tax the rich for it. And you're going to keep voting for people that are going to keep supporting this descent into madness. So insist on a socialist candidate, or find your local socialist candidate and support the hell out of them. Insist on a Bernie Sanders who's actually going to follow through and has some, who's not afraid to, get roughed up a little bit. Turn your frown upside down. That's right. Anyways, we will not revolt because they got us hating our brother. That's right, Malcolm. And okay, and on top of all of this, we have to start seeing each other as equals and, dare I say the word comrades? We're, whatever word you want to put on that. Equals, and we're all in this together. And it's not like you suck because you're on the left, or you suck because you're white, or you suck because you're, an immigrant. No, we're all here working for the same thing together. And what we want, they are trying to take from us. They being the people on top, the controllers. So that's the only enemy you need to be focused on, because they are trying to call you the enemy right now. And so if that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do. Okay. Guys, I got to quit. I got to give it up. I'm out. I will see you guys tomorrow at noon Pacific. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all. All the new viewers, thanks for stopping in. Hey, listen, if you voted for Trump, I ain't mad, I'm not mad at you. It's just we're working on limited information and limited, resources here. So we got to start, getting together and giving, and accepting where we're at and trying to work on this together as a community, left, right, black, white, everybody. Okay. All right. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate you. Until next time, beware the bear.